Hello. Welcome to Talking Shop, a conversation with educational leaders. My name is Mike Randolph, and I'm the proud principal of the Leesburg High School. And we are joined by our co-host, Martin Aftuck, the proud principal of Middleburg High School. Martin, how are you doing this week?
Good, man. It's a great week. Homecoming. Got all the decorations up. We're ready for the game on Friday, dance on Saturday. We're doing a little earlier this year, but it's kind of how our home schedule worked out for football, so I'm excited.
I like that. Talk to me about your favorite part about homecoming. What's your favorite part about homecoming week?
The creativity. Our hallways, they put all these huge murals up, and it's super cool. It's a competition between all the classes. They go through like 7,000 rolls of painter's tape, but it's just seeing all the creativity and the dress up days, the excitement, kids having fun at the dance, and then we got a big game on Friday night, so it'll be fun for that. It's what you live for as a high school principal, right? Those every night got something going on and going from there.
Oh, yeah. Homecoming week is always a busy week. We have ours in October. We've combined ours this year with senior night because of the way that our schedule falls. So we're excited. That's going to be an exciting week, and we're really excited to celebrate our seniors during homecoming week as well. So that'll be something unique for us here in the Leesburg community. But for us, this episode is a very special episode where it is Ask Me Anything, where we've put it out to our social media followers, our teachers, and our scholars on campus, and we've said, what questions do you have for two principals that are running a podcast? So we have a nice bank of questions. I'm really excited to dive into them. Some of my favorite questions are the questions from our scholars, and I actually want to dive into the first question, which is from our scholar, which is one from our scholars. She wrote, Mr. Randolph, can you talk about how you and your co-host makes your school a destination school? With open enrollment, with charter schools, how do you make students want to come to your school? So I'll let you start with that one,
let's
Martin.
pull up the Berg shirt here,
Yes.
No, I think you want to make school an exciting place to be. You want to have engagement, but you also want to have, like for us, it's everything in the hallways, how we have all our wraps up. We have we painted, like it's just trying to add on to that. So it's a cool place you want to go, and then you have exciting people. You have get your community involved. We try and get every kid connected with some kind of activity. We talk about that a lot, whether it be joining the band, NDROTC, playing a sport, but just finding something to connect outside of school. And then, like we want Middleburg to be the premier school in Northeast Florida, so that's what we're trying to do. And I think it just creates a feeling in the community, proud. People are proud to be a Bronco, a lot of proud graduates, and then having kids come through there that they duplicate that. So how about you?
Absolutely. I love that you talked about pride. And as a former teacher of Middleburg High School, the community of Middleburg has so much pride. And that's something that we really hone in on here at Leesburg. For us, something that we talk about, when you focus on the good gets better. So if you look on our social media, if you look on our website, you will see our hashtag 180 Days of Joy, which we have done for the last 5 years, where we share the best part of our day every single day. And quite honestly, that is my love letter to our community, to our school, to our scholars, to our teachers, to our families, right? So we really celebrate the good things that are going on here at Leesburg High School. And for us, we want to be the voice of Leesburg High School. Perception is someone else's reality.
100%.
And this is year 8 for me at Leesburg. And 7 years ago, perception was very negative, but that was not our reality, but it was our community's reality. So we had to be very intentional and plan to really go out and our narrative. So again, you will see us actively posting on social media. You'll see us actively celebrating our students, but really it's also about creating an environment, like you talked about, where our students are excited about being on campus every single day. So for us, you will hear us playing music in the morning. You will hear us playing music at lunch. We're just trying to create a culture for our scholars where when you are in class, we understand that it's time to work, but when you're not in class, we understand understand that school is so much more than just the academics. So we really want to engage our scholars in those extracurriculars, whether it's the band, whether it's chorus, whether it's dance, whether it's our athletics. So we really go over the top with trying to promote those activities and really celebrate those activities as well. So that's a great first question. Thank you.
Yeah,
and
there's
I'm
so many
stealing some of
choices
those
out there.
ideas.
There's so many choices out there, and I think it's important to create those competitive programs too, where like Cambridge, like we both have Cambridge, we both have, like our band, our chorus, those things. We want to hire the right people.
Our
And
CTE
create and build CTE programs where kids want to be a part of that. So that's important as well. We could probably do a whole podcast on that. All right, next question. You ready? This comes from user
Absolutely.
Play Fast Coach Mac. I'm not sure who that is, but anyways, question from Instagram. He said, what's the first question you ask an assistant principal in an interview?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So the very first question that I ask an assistant principal is to take me through their educational journey, right? I want to know how you got to the seat that you're in. How did you become a leader? What leadership opportunities did you take? I want to know your journey from your experience while you were in school to your experience in college, to your experience as a teacher, to your experience as a coach, to your experience as a mentor, to your experience as a leader on your campus. So those things really matter to me and that allows me to make sure as the principal that philosophies really mesh, right? By hearing your journey and hearing the assistant principal's why, it allows me to say from that first question, okay, our whys match or merge. Let's dive into the academics. Let's dive into what is your instructional leadership strategy. But that's a great question. So what about you, Martin? What's that first question that you ask in an AP interview?
Same question I ask anyone interviewing at Middleburg High School. Why Middleburg High School? I want to know, if they've done the research, how they're going to mesh with our team, what they know about the school, what they know about the community. And then it gives them an opportunity to kind of to set the tone for the interview. I've had people that said, I say, why Middleburg High School? And they say, well, it's a job that's open, and that's probably going to be a short interview. It's not, but then you have people dive into, they know the community, they know the kids, they give us data about the school, they talk about us as an admin team. So I think that's important. And there's a few other questions that you can go from there. Always like, how do you use data to make instructional decisions? I think that's important. Not everything, but it's very important that you're able to articulate that, because that's what you do with the job. So why Middleburg High School is always how I start.
That's huge. That's actually how we end with ours is, we read our vision statement and then we say, okay, how are you going to support that vision statement and why Leesburg? So I love starting with that though, to really see, okay, have you done your research on us? So that's a great pro tip there. Next question, and it comes from one of our teachers. How do you as a leader cope with pressure?
Well, that's a great question. So I think that's changed as I've grown. You don't want to make it. You want to kind of listen. You want to think about it. You don't want to make a rash decision based on something that just happened emotionally. So I think a lot of that comes from being the principal at alternative school. You'd have something planned out and then your day would get shot and there'd be something going on. And so you kind of had to adjust on the fly. So for me, it's just, I want to make sure I take something, whatever, no matter what it is, you take all the information, find all the facts, and then you try and slow that process down. For me, like, honestly, I learned a lot more working in restaurants about life, because you deal with the pressure of, you start as a young kid, like dealing with the pressure of having 5 tables and having to make all those things happen and being able to multitask. So, I mean, it depends on the situation too. Again, we're more veteran principals when you think about how long a principal's career lasts now. Like both of us around almost 10 years, sometimes you want, everyone's looking to you. Everyone's looking to you to see how you're going to react. So, if you're freaking out, well, guess what? Everyone else is going to freak out. If you stay cool and just think and let things happen, then it's going to take the pressure off everyone else. How about you?
For me, I love that you talked about the growth that you've shown over your span in administration, because that's something that I've definitely displayed as well. And something that I've had to learn and okay with is it's okay not to have the answer right then. As the principal, especially early in my career, I felt like I had to have the answer to every single question right there on the spot. I did not lean on my team. I did not lean on our teachers. I did not lean on our community. And that really was a detriment in my early years. So being able and being humble enough to say, don't have the answer at this time, but I'm willing to go and find it. I found that where I thought that my teachers, my community, our parents were going to look at me and say, well, how do you not have the answer? You're the principal. You're supposed to have the answer. They actually really valued that response and they valued that humility as well. So that's one thing. And then for me, it's really learning how to listen with the intent to understand. Early in my career, I really listened with the intent to answer, right? Task oriented. I was super task oriented, wanted to knock it out. I had my checklist. I was going to check it twice. I couldn't wait to put that check in the box and just say, I'm done, on to the next. And really what I found was, especially my first 3-4 years, my teachers were not happy. And we had a higher turnover rate because I was not listening to our teachers. So really when it was about 2001 that I started, or 2000, right during COVID, right before COVID hit, we started using the TNTP mid-year administrator survey and stakeholder survey and really asking our teachers where we were as a staff and how their relationship was with their administration and with their students, and really collecting that data. And then, okay, now that we have that data, what are we going to do with it? So really making intentional moves once we collected that data to just help cope, to help understand what our teachers were going through at that time. So really listening with the intent to understand and not just the intent to answer quickly was a strategy that we came up with.
All right.
So
how about
what's another question for us, Martin?
building relationships with kids? How important is that to you and students? What's your approach to building relationships?
Can I tell you, for me, that is the job, right? Building relationships for kids. Students will run, our scholars will run through a brick wall. They will soar to new heights if they know that adults are truly invested in them. So it starts with me as the principal. So I have to show that investment. And I want to harken back to an earlier episode, which is a pro tip from Dr. Hayward, when she talked about making sure that your scholars hear you every single day on the announcements. That I used to do kind of fell by the wayside, and I've really made sure after that episode to make sure that my scholars heard me and that I had a conversation on a daily basis with our scholars. I've noticed by doing that our scholars are more apt to come to me during the day, give me a fist bump, give me a handshake, say hello to me, just because they know that I'm present, I'm there, and we're really guiding them to be great on a daily basis. So I think making sure that you invest in your students, that's something that's important to me. And shout out to Dr. Hayward for giving me that tip as well and giving us that tip on Talking Shop. What about for you? How do you build those relationships with your Bronco family?
I think you have to be out. I don't like being in my office. I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit in the office all day. It's driving me nuts. I hate being in there. That's part of number one, getting in classes. Number two, we started doing, you talk about the announcements. So this year we started doing like a connecting question every single day. And it's just something silly. Like, today was, do you want to be, what would you rather be, like famous in real life or social media? But it's just those questions that kids walk by and ask them, like just that, whatever that connecting question is today was something we took from, I think Oakleaf was doing it. And, I've got a couple teachers that I look forward to seeing there. I will go to their class just to hear what they have to say about that connecting question. Just try and be loose in the hallways. Kids walk by, and this is one of my favorite things to do. Kids have like the Nirvana shirt or Rolling Stones, and I'll be like, top 3 songs, tell me right now. And they'll just walk, like they know if they're wearing a band shirt, they come by me, I'm going to ask them. So you'd be surprised how many kids it just opens up a conversation with them. And how many of them have no idea?
Well, again, just being real.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So you're
So
showing your
cutting it up.
scholars that you're a real person, right?
Yep. Cutting it up, and then
So that's
just go into stuff too is important. Having
absolutely
them
being
see you.
visible and being
Hmm.
present at their extracurriculars.
And we
So
talk about that with
talk about
teachers
how
too.
do you
Go ahead.
so transitioning to teachers, talk about how do you support teachers' mental health? We know that that's such a huge topic right now. How do you support your faculties and your staff's mental health?
I try and listen, and I don't know if I do a good job with this. I try and check the tone, like on Facebook. You see what people are saying, what they're doing, but then trying to listen, trying to, like if you know someone's having a bad day, talking to them. We do have things like where we talk about like employee assistance and helping people with those things, but then also like just checking in. If especially with your like my social studies people, my English people that are, just checking in, seeing where we're at, asking them, and then a lot of it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Mike. It's listening. When people come in, listen. And I was guilty of that same thing where I'd have my task list, and someone would come in, and I'd be trying to do multitasking. It's just a matter of put away put the computer down, put the phone away, and just sit and listen to someone. And that's something that takes time, and it builds that relationship. But it's a tough time to be a teacher. Everything is. I don't want to say we're under attack, but there's a lot of scrutiny under public education. So it's important that we try and listen, and then I try and feed them as much as I can. Try and protect their time, because I think that's important. I can't pay you more, but I can always give you more time. How about you?
So those are excellent strategies, and we do something similar. So for me, number one is celebrate our teachers. So for example, today and on a monthly basis, we have our teacher incentive program where we award a teacher of the month administratively selected, a teacher of the month teachers selected, a support member of the month. The entire staff selects that support member of the month, and then we have our PBIS teacher of the month. So, for us, shout out to our social studies team who has monopolized the teacher of the month voting, and they just make sure that they vote for everyone in their department. But it's funny, they receive a $25 gift certificate and a belt. And again, we laugh about that, but it means so much to our social studies department that as a group, they say, okay, this month we're going to make sure that you get it. This month we're going to make sure that you get it. And they take pride in making sure that their group and their team is celebrated on a monthly basis. So, I've kind of called out our other teams and said, listen, if you look at our Teacher of the Month wall last year, you're going to see social studies on there every single month. So, trying to and just having fun with it, right? Something that Dr. Faulkner said earlier during talking shop was, "It's not that serious.
Yep.
Make sure to have fun with it." Right? So you have to laugh with your staff. And that's something that I try to do with our staff. I'm in the middle of a John Maxwell podcast study on leadership. And one lesson that he provides in how to improve daily is be willing to admit that you were wrong. And it shows your growth every day. And again, the humility that it takes for a leader to stand in front of 100 teachers and staff members and say, I was wrong. That goes over so well for your teachers. So, that's one thing that we really do for our teachers is celebrate, 2, listen to our teachers, and 3, and most importantly, just give a clear and concise message that is similar throughout the entire year. Our teachers, just like our students, want consistency. So if you're giving
100%.
messages that are all over the place, that are not in line with your district's vision as well, that's not in line with your vision, then your teachers are going to be disjointed. So we're very intentional about making sure that we provide concise and clear messages that are on point with what we've done for the entire year. So that's another strategy that we use. This is kind of our final question as we're coming up here. How do you manage a work and home balance? Being a principal, you put in a lot of time as a principal, but you are also the father. You are also a father as well. So, and a husband. How do you balance that work and home balance?
I'm not very good at it, Mike. I need to put my phone I try and not make calls or try and not take calls, but I'm not very good at it. I'll admit that. Trying to turn it off and spend time, but I don't know. I just think you just have to take the time with your kids, take the time with your wife. We try and do date nights. We try and do, do stuff as a family. We do family dinner, and that's one of my favorite things. And we go around the table. Tell me about the best part of your day. Tell me about something that could have went better. And that's, for me, that's huge. I've gotten better, but I still suck at it. So I got to I got to make some growth. How about you?
Yes, I'm not great at it either. So, and if you can show me a principal that is great at it, I would love to have them on Talking Shop because I would love to take notes from them on being visible. You talked about that. My daughters are involved. Riley is getting started with flag football. She's involved with cheerleading. Peyton is involved with soccer. So making sure that we're present at those events, right? Making sure that we talk to our kids, our own personal kids, about their academic journey. I spend so much time taking care of 1,750 students the same way that you do. It's important not to forget about the two most important ones, right? At home, and making sure that their academic journey.
I just looked at their progress reports yesterday. Like, all right, what do we got? Hey, I got one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got the finger point. You both utilize it in pictures. Tell me why you do it.
That's right. You know what? For me, it's just to make sure that the focus is on the kid, right? It's not about me. It's about the kid. So this is just an extra way to highlight our scholar and the great thing that they're doing. So I'll typically try to point at their award. I'll typically try to point at them. No real cool reason for it. Just I want to make sure that that we know that it's about our scholar. So what about you? I know that you have a much cooler reason than I do.
No, I'm terrible. Like I don't know what to do with my hands. So Triple H, the wrestler, would do the pictures with the new wrestlers at NXT, and he'd always do like the finger point to him. So I thought that looked cool, and then I started doing it, and then now it's got out of control where I can't take a picture without doing it. People do it, so it's cool. It's definitely fun. But like we had a prayer walk on Monday, and a dad comes up. He's like, "You gotta take a picture with me. I gotta send it to my kid." Like it was, it's fun, and that's just part of like okay, a little signature move. So thank you, Triple H.
It's funny, it becomes your signature. So imagine if you didn't do it for a scholar or for a parent, they would look and say, "Whoa, what did I do wrong here?" So no. Shout out for creating that signature move. So this was fun. And I feel like we could continue to talk about continue to answer these questions.
We got other bigger fish to fry, right? We got some big guests tonight.
Oh yes, big guests tonight. So we are excited for our guests. We're excited just for this journey. So let me, you know what? I know we said one more question, two questions ago. Then we said one question, last question. But I'm going to end us with this. This is our final question. What has been your favorite part of doing Talking Shop so far?
Well, number one, I enjoy your company, Mike. I think this is giving us the opportunity to share.
You too, man.
Share ideas, but I think it's just listening. Ask the question. Sit back and listen. And I've just even last week talking to Miss Wolf, talking about, I think she said and I wrote it down, insane and beautiful. Like that's every single podcast we've gotten something. I know they're using scholars after Carolyn's, like, talking to, just listening to, getting this to highlight people that we know like do great things that can benefit others. So we're hoping to grow it and continue it, and got a lot more guests lined up. So it's been fun. How about you?
Absolutely. For me, selfishly, I've academically acquired a ton of ideas that have made me better. I often say iron sharpens iron. So I want to just say shout out to all of our guests that we've had on, because they have truly been rock stars in the educational field. And it's really given us the opportunity to learn something every single week from our guests. So, I know I quoted a few different things. I know I'm missing a ton of items, but that's been my favorite part, is just growing from other leaders. So a pro tip that I would give to a new principal or a veteran principal is to find a group of leaders, talk to them, and be willing to listen to them as well. That allows you to continue to grow. So 100%. You'll often see, and again, this has been one of the harder episodes because it's been you and I talking, right? In our other episodes, we get to ask the question, and then we get to sit back and let someone else really cook and go into their educational strategies. And that's the beauty for me, is really finding those leaders that are doing amazing things and really highlighting them and just giving them the space to shine. So
100%.
I'm excited for our continued work. I'm proud of our platform that we've built, and I'm so happy to spend this time with you as well, Martin. You know, we've grown up in this educational field. I remember when we were both teachers and coaches, and who'd have thunk it? You know, we are 15 years later. We're sitting as principals and doing great work. So again, I'm proud of the work that you're doing at Middleburg.
Same to you,
I'm
buddy.
excited to continue this journey. Yes, thank you. So again, tonight was Talking Shop, a conversation with educational leaders. My name is Mike Randolph. I'm the proud principal of the Leesburg High School, and we have Martin Aftuck, the proud principal of Middleburg High School, signing off. Have a good night, and go
Go
Jackets.
Broncos.